Okay, this is a practice sheet on completing sizes for your hypotenuses in the spiral project. Now, the only difference in this is right here. On the regular project, these are going to be 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters. So each of these will be 3 instead of 5 going around it like that. But otherwise, it's exactly the same. You're going to see a lot of the same patterns in there, and we do this. So we know that's a right angle. That makes it a right triangle. We want to get our H1, our hypotenuse, up there for triangle 1. 5 squared. I'm looking at these right here. 5 squared plus 5 squared equals the hypotenuse 1 squared. Square those out. You'll get 25 right there. 25 and 25 gives us 50. And that number, if you follow the arrow, goes right there, hi squared, so this is hypotenuse 1, is 50. Now we need to reduce that. We're going to square root each side. That gives us 50, so we just did a little square root to each side. Now 50 I can break up. Now remember, you want to have a perfect square part and a non-perfect square part. Well, 50 is just 25 times 2. The square root of 25 is 5, so this ends up being 5 root 2. That goes in for my fully reduced radical. Okay. Radical pattern we'll come back to. Decimals. Let's look at that. So we've got calculator. Oops, that's not turned on. Calculator. 5 times square root. That's not working right. 5 times 2. That's still not hitting it right. 5 times 2 square root. There we go. 7.071 is what we get there. So that's 7.07. Now, when we go to our second triangle up here, now notice in our second triangle, that's H2, our second hypotenuse, but this side, H1, is actually one of the legs in that triangle. So when we go to calculate this next one, we've got the 5 squared for the outer leg. This is 5. And then we have to use H1 here. I think the best option to use is this number right here. And I got the little arrow leading in there. That's just square root of 50. Yeah, that looks horrible. Okay, why do I like that one? Because 50, root 50 squared just gives us 50 right back, and we've got it. And we can keep going. 75, ooh, that fits in my pattern, that goes right there. We're going to have the square root of 75. This was 25 times 2. This one's going to be 25 times 3, which gives us 5 root 3. Hey. Could be a pattern, could be a pattern. And then we can get out our calculator. 5 times 3 square root. And I get 8.66. Now this pattern is going to keep on going here. So just like I took this one here, I'm going to put H2. That becomes, when we go to the next triangle, H2 is now a leg of the next triangle because we got the right angle. That's our H3, and it continues to go like that all the way around. So just like this, I'm going to bring this down. We got square root of 75, which just comes out to 75. That's always nice. This gives me 100, the square root of 100, or this 10 squared. That's just a perfect square. That comes out to 10. So this should have been 100. This should have been 10. And this would be 10.00. Remember, you're going to hundredths, include the zeros. Okay. So we're going to start off again. This isn't going to change. It's going to be 25 because you always have that 5. So we're in 4. So we're in this one right now. These are all 5. Remember, now we got to use H3. So you can use 10, or I'm just going to use the square root of 100 in there. And we keep doing that. So that's equal to 25 plus 100. That's my H4 squared. H4 squared is going to be 125. I can put that over here. Hey, I got a pattern. 50, 75, 100, 125. It's going up by 25 each time. Good, I can check my work in the future. So this is going to be H4 equals square root of 125. Now I'm going to break this one up. H4 equals square root of 25 times square root of 5. 25 times 5 is 125. So H4 equals 5 root 5. And let's get that. 5 times 5 square root equals 11.18. 11.18, is that right? Yeah. But you know what? 5 root 2, 5 root 3, 5 root 5. It looks like I should see a pattern here. I can see my 5 root 2, my 5 root 3, my 5 root 5. It seems like this should be 5 root 4. But it's simplified. But let's take a look at this right here. Let's look at these. 25 times 2. 25 times 3, or root 25 times root 3, root 25 times root 2. This one's root 25 times root 5. Hey, I could have done, in this one here, I could have done square root of 25 times square root of 4. That would give me 5 root 4. I'm just not going to simplify that 4 because now I have my little pattern matching up here. Cool. So we can do this and keep doing this. And I think we get down here, I think 7 and 8 also have some different stuff when we get down here on this one. So you can tell you're going to be getting some of these things down here later. So start off with the next one. Let's go H5 equals 5 squared plus, we're going to use that square root of 125 squared. Again, we're just bringing that one down. Just bringing that one down every time. 25 plus 125. So H5 squared equals 150. Hey, that's matching my pattern. Sweet. Know I'm doing my work right. So H5 is square root of 150. Square root of 25 times square root of 6, and 25 times 6 does equal 150. H5 equals 5 root 6. Hey, that's matching my pattern. So I will give you some hints here. You can keep doing that. 7 and 8, your patterns shouldn't match up for the reduced ones. And you're going to have to do some extra work like we did for this one up here. Okay, check those with me. They should match up these patterns. You should be able to get that. And that will keep going. So this one was 5 root 6. And this one, let's just finish this up. 5 times 6 square root, 12.25. And make sure you're paying attention to your rounding. 12.247. It's going to round up to 12.25. And that pretty much takes us through the steps you're going to do here. You can keep getting some of these here. I think you'll see a 250 here. Okay. I think you're going to get 15 there, just for some checks. This would be 5 root 11 down here in the pattern and 5 root 11 down here. Those should be matching up. Hope that helps. Remember, the only difference between the actual one is you're using 3s for these numbers. These are all 3s instead of 5s. Oops. That should have been just a 5 squared there, not a 25. My mistake. But just notice those are going to be 3s. Good luck. Talk to you soon.